Afternoon, Warren.
Afternoon.
How many of these names were nailed on for you a month or so ago, and how many were you still mulling over with the other guys last night?
There was no one nailed on a month or so ago. I think it was probably after last week we looked at the squad and we felt, it's 24, 25 that we thought were pretty good contenders, and there was then, another 9 or 10 that we were discussing afterwards.
And in terms of the overall makeup of the squad, has it changed a lot in the last 3 games that you played? Or
In terms of
your perception of what you thought you might bring and what these warm-up games have shown?
No, it probably hasn't changed massively from what we've probably originally went out to pick the squad from. We've seen a huge growth in a number of players during the time that we've been together. Probably the one area that did change, we've tried to be as transparent as possible, as all the way through with the players, taking them through what our thought process was about the makeup of the squad, 18-13 split. Our original thinking was 6 props, but we decided to go with 5. But there's always got to be some compromise somewhere in the squad, whether it's at 10s or just second row or somewhere. And so that's the one position where we're potentially a little bit light, but we've been doing some work with Wyn Jones in terms of covering that tight head position to make up so that we've got sufficient cover there if we do get an injury there.
Warren, you mentioned in the run-up to this announcement that breaking the bad news to those who miss out would be the hardest part of your job. How has it been, that process for you?
Yeah, it's having experience and knowing myself the disappointment of missing out on the World Cup squad. So I spoke to some players about 1 o'clock today. Obviously it's a difficult conversation there. They're pretty disappointed, but I've got to say that we've had a World Cup WhatsApp group, and the players that have missed out, I think all of them nearly have commented on the WhatsApp group and wished the guys all the best. And I think it's a sign of character of the players that have missed out, and those players that have missed out will be on our standby list if we do pick up any injuries over the next few weeks. It's not an easy conversation to have, obviously, delivering that sort of news.
2 of the most notable names perhaps to miss out of the props, Rob Evans and Samson Lee. Can you talk us through the decisions there?
Yeah, look, when we decided to go with the 5 props, one of the big discussion points was just how durable the props were, and Rob probably hasn't trained a lot in the lead up to the World Cup matches. He came in with a shoulder injury after surgery, then he's picked up a neck injury and a couple of back issues as well. So he hadn't played a lot. And Samson, he's probably missed a few campaigns through injury, had a hamstring issue this year, so during the campaign as well. So, we looked at the durability of the props coming in, and someone like Rhys Curry, who's made incredible progress, really, probably the last few weeks. He's dropped 10 kilograms. I thought he did well yesterday. He's a big man, but I think apart from one day where he found it tough, where his calves are a bit tight and early on in the training camps, he hasn't missed a training session, hasn't been in the physio room. So and given the other props are pretty durable in terms of Thomas and Dylan as well. So that was probably some of the consideration that we had about particularly when we decided to just go with the five props, because with Corey Hill not probably being available until the second game, then Aaron Shingler covers us in that second row position, so then we decided to go with the 6 loose forwards.
You've gone for Rhys Patchell as one of your 10s, Warren, ahead of Jared Evans. Was that a difficult, tight call, or what was you thinking?
I thought yesterday Rhys came on and gave a pretty solid performance in the second half. It was tough for Jared in that first half, and that was probably the decision on yesterday's performance. And Jared's an incredibly talented young player, and I'm sure his time will come sometime in the future. But I thought Rhys controlled the game nicely when he came on. He scored a good try, kicked his goals as well. He has had experience, and for us with Reece, the whole time he's been with us has been about rebuilding his confidence. He came in not being picked for the Scarlets, sort of been on the bench, not having a lot of rugby, so it was about us just bringing him on slowly and trying to give him that confidence and belief that he was capable of performing at this level, and I thought he did a good job yesterday.
And overall, Warren, how would you rate the strength of this squad compared to the other teams going to the tournament? Is it good enough to win?
I think it's good enough to win. I think the most difficult thing about this squad is the depth that we've created over the last 3 or 4 years, and so we've left out some real quality players that in the past, when you're picking a World Cup squad, you may have been happy with 23 or 24 and the others making up the numbers. You're not quite sure about their ability and quality, but we've left out some real class players. I thought Owen Lane had a good game yesterday, played well, so he's definitely a player for the future. Like I said, we've left out 2 experienced props, an experienced player, and Bradley Davis been left out as well. So, and you've got players who aren't available, someone like Reece Webb, of course. So I think the depth of the squad and the difficult decisions we've made is a sign of the preparation that's gone into the last 3 or 4 years. And so, I think we're going there with a lot of self-belief and a lot of confidence. Disappointed with yesterday, but thought we showed some great character in that second half coming back. I thought we looked fit and strong and started to play with some real purpose in that second half. And I think with 12 minutes to go, if Elliot D had scored that try, I think we would have gone on to win the game. We just ran out a bit of time.
You spoke very highly of James Davis a few weeks ago. Warren's a big chance for him, and the fact that he's made the squad, what have you made of his progress?
Yeah, look, he's had some injury issues and during the season. I thought he gave a pretty good performance yesterday for someone who hasn't played a lot of rugby at 23 minutes against England. But he worked incredibly hard and a couple of turnovers as well, and he's got that ball carrying ability. So look, we've got some real strength and depth in that back row, and some options and some combinations that we can look at. And so really pleased with how he's come on. He'll be absolutely delighted to go, and he's an important member of the squad.
And how about that last game against Ireland now, that last warm-up match? How do you approach that? Do you go stronger than you were?
Yeah, we'll be pretty strong, but I think there's a couple of people that perhaps need a start, and say someone like Reece Patchell we might look at giving him a run next week. Does Elliot D need a start at hooker as well? So it'll be pretty strong in terms of the squad, but we'll be mixing and matching a little bit for next week. Ironically, it looks like if we can win next weekend, it's sort of almost reflects exactly what happened in 2011 in terms of the warm-up game. So we'll be going over there having had a good week and hopefully picking a pretty strong side for the game in Dublin.
What happens to the players left out now? Because obviously there's a good chance some of them will end up being called up.
Yeah, they won't come in this week. I think it's pretty tough on them to bring them in and stuff. So they'll have a bit of a break and then get back to their clubs. We've put a standby list together that we're not making public, but those players will be on that. And if we do pick up any injuries, then perhaps they will get an opportunity to come out. So we'll have to assess the progress of someone like Corey Hill. Hopefully he is on track to be available for that second game, but if he doesn't meet his markers on the way and stuff, then we may have to make a call on that position. So look, it's disappointing, but they've worked really hard in the last 12, 13 weeks together, and some of them may get that opportunity to come out if we do pick up injuries.
Warren, how do you split Scott Williams and Owen Watkin in the centre?
Look, when Scott first came in to camp, he was really struggling with his back, so he's been out for a long period. He couldn't bend down and pick up a ball off the ground. So where he's come from to being able to play an international yesterday, he's made a huge amount of progress. And we just felt that we want him to continue to do that. We've been impressed with Owen Watkin. You know, we've used him off the bench in those big matches. And he's just probably had a little bit more rugby and a bit more game time than Scott has at this stage. So look, it's tough to leave an experienced player out like Scott, but like I said, for where he came from, I honestly did not think he would get through the camps and even be available for consideration. So he's made a massive strides in doing that, and you know, I've got to take my hat off to him in terms of where he's got to. He's probably not quite as sharp as he in his own mind as where he'd like to be, but he's made significant progress, and if we do get injuries, then you know, he's a different option for us.
Alan, you go back to the prehistoric days of the World Cup in '87. How does this group compare to all the teams you've been involved in and going all the way back? And what's the difference between '87 and now?
Well, we didn't get paid in '87.
One big difference.
Yeah, no, this is I'd say it's the best group of players I've been involved with. You know, they're all pretty tight. You've just seen the WhatsApp group this morning how Rob Evans started the ball rolling, wishing the boys all the best, and then all of a sudden 8 to 9 of them, you know, we were very disappointed, didn't they? You know, they made the cut, and this is a good group of people, and it's far more professional, isn't it? You know, no stone unturned now. Like, you know, from the time they get up in the morning, they get weighed and tested. We just got to give them all the facilities to go out and play, and we've got that.
And the gentleman on your right is going to be leaving at the end of the World Cup. Can he bring it home?
I think we can, yeah. Yeah.
And what sort of impacts he had?
Oh, unbelievable, isn't it? You know, it's there for everybody to see. Like, he did get a bit emotional yesterday in the team talk. First time I've seen him, tears, and on the bus journey in. And we just all a bit disappointed, really. You know, that we didn't fetch up a result for him now. So next week now, I know he's got one eye on next week now. So.
Was it easier to keep it checked than Hansen or Henry?
Well, different human beings, you know, you're talking about. One was nocturnal. Graham, I didn't work with Graham that long, really. So yeah, great guy to work with.
But you did keep him in check.
I've never had to. Honestly, you know, when you consider he's been like 10 or 12 years working with the same group of people, and they all get on well. You know, respect is there. I see him with the players, you know, the way he speaks to them. Very sharp operative, I have to say.
Warren, from what you've seen over the last few weeks, you've seen England at close quarters, you've seen Ireland close up. What's the relative strength going to the tournament of the Northern Hemisphere to the South? Where do you think the strength lies going to this World Cup compared to previous?
Oh, I think this is the most open World Cup we've had for a long time. I know the All Blacks losing in Perth was a bit of a shock in terms of that result, you know, down to 14 men, but they just showed when their minds are on it what they can do the following week to Australia. South Africa looked like they're improving all the time. I think 6 or 7 teams that are capable of winning this World Cup. You need a little bit of luck. You know, you get through your group and into quarterfinals, and you take one game at a time. I think, you know, we go there with a lot of confidence. England, they'll be tough out there. They've got a huge side, big physical forward pack, big backs, and you know they've got a very good chance as well, I think. So we know we're in great condition physically, and I think for a lot of people watching yesterday's game would have seen how strong we were in that second half, and we've still got a few weeks to get things together to help us prepare. So look, I think Northern Hemisphere have got a great chance of doing well in this World Cup.
All done for the live part. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks very much for asking me a question. I was starting to feel a bit lonely.
What else am I here for?